Today I screwed up. It's completely my fault. It's not easy to admit that when you realize that you've made a mistake that's a costly one. Let me explain. So many years ago, there was a radio personality named Paul Harvey. And Paul Harvey has a very famous broadcast that's called So God Made a Farmer. And during the course of the broadcast, he talks about the hardships and the difficulties and the struggles of being a farmer. And today was one of those days for me. So a lot of people think that raising cows, raising sheep, growing corn, growing alfalfa, that all of that is farming. But a lot of people forget that greenhouse and nursery work is also farming. So we're not the same in that we grow out in the field. Well, some nursery folks grow out in the field with containers. But greenhouse growers, we grow in a controlled field. And it's a field that we control as far as the temperature and the humidity and the water and all of that. But it's still farming. We're still producing a crop. And today I killed my crop. No, it wasn't my baskets. Luckily, they're still alive. But it deals with one of the projects that I showed off. It says, hey, these things are awesome. You know, these little tiny cold frames that you can grow in these, and they're awesome. And that's where I raise my vegetables because I just don't have enough room for everything. So it wasn't my baskets that I killed. It was all of my tomatoes. All of them. So there's a few hundred tomatoes in there, maybe 400 or 500. And they all currently look like this. They are dead. There's a few surviving, a few dozen, but the majority of my tomatoes are dead. And it's completely my fault. So I had some students out here yesterday finishing up some planting for our tomatoes and doing some seeding, and they were also watering for me. And I pulled my heater out of the greenhouse. So what I use is just one of these little heaters, and it's worked great for me. You know, they keep the greenhouse warm. I've got a little thermostat that I put on there so it doesn't get really cold. Well, I pulled that out so that it didn't get watered and it didn't get wet. And I forgot to put it back last night. And last night the temperature dipped down. You know, we're northern Idaho, and there's a possibility we'll have snow next week. But I forgot to put my heater in, and all my tomatoes froze to death. It's too late to replant them. You know, that's, I don't know, maybe 8 weeks worth of growth. As far as seeding and germination and all of that, it's too late to reseed them. And so I'm probably, well, it's pretty bad in there. That's what they look like. So it's a few hundred that are gone. And that's a significant blow to my program. So, you know, that's money that I won't have to put towards the concrete for the new greenhouse. That's money I won't have to purchase baskets and basket fillers for next year. So as a teacher, that's a pretty hard hit. And I haven't talked to anybody about it. So this is, hey, YouTube, you're the first to know. I mean, how do you explain that? Gosh, sorry, I killed the entire crop. I forgot to put the heater back. I did talk to one teacher and they says, well, at least it wasn't a student. A student would have probably blown that off and not thought twice about it. But it's something I'm going to think about for years, unfortunately. And my community really supports me and purchased my plant material. And tomatoes was one of those things that was super popular last year. So I was excited that I was going to have so many, but they're gone now. I think I might have 150 left in the greenhouse of seedlings. They just weren't ready to transplant up now. It's just that little tiny greenhouse just couldn't fit anymore. Everything was stretching, not enough light, not enough space for the baskets. But it's farming. Not everything can be successful. You know, not every animal survives. Not every plant thrives. Not every crop reaches harvest. It's just a reminder that I'm not perfect. And like any other farmer, I'm still practicing. You know, I had a student that's lost half of each of her litter of her hogs. And this is just kind of the same deal. I lost one of my crops. And now I've got to suffer the consequences of that. So it is what it is. We'll plant more. We'll try again next year. But yeah, it sucks. All right. Ag Teacher Thoughts out.